Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. How are you? I hope I am live. So, today is probably one of the most influential days of my life. Um, January 11th, 2015 is the day that my daddy died. And so I talk about him a lot, but I really have never shared the whole story of what happened after he died. I share bits and pieces, but I never really share the whole story. And so, considering that that event is what has led me to be the person that I am today, I thought that there was no better way to, one, celebrate his life, and two, to share something that hopefully will be beneficial to someone in this community. So, when my dad died, I was in insurance. I was happy. I was feeling like I was pursuing my purpose. I loved selling insurance. I was passionate about it. I was good at it. And everything was good in my life, right? And then when he got sick in 2012, and then the next 3.5 years, or maybe it was 2011. I guess it was 2011. He got sick, and that's when my life kind of started like tumbling upside down. And it was a 3.5 year long journey of lots of ups and downs, of finding out he was cancer free for like a year, and then going through more treatment and more treatment and more treatment, and if you've lived with anyone with cancer, you know that it's a very roller coaster of a ride as far as emotions go. And so by the time he passed away, I was mentally exhausted. I was done. And so for the first time in my life, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel secure. Because as long as he was alive, I knew no matter what situation that I got into, he would come and rescue me, right? And so at that point, I had to learn to be my own rescuer. And, I'd like to say that it happened overnight, but it didn't. I've never felt so lost in my life as I did probably the next 9 or so months after he died. I can remember going to grief counseling, and I told my counselor, I said, I literally feel like I'm lost in the woods and I don't know how to get out. Like, I'm just wandering with no direction. And another day, I explained it like, I feel like I'm all the pieces of the puzzle, but I don't see the photo, so I can see how to put them back together. And I don't know, maybe you felt like that before in life when something traumatic happened. I don't know. But I'm learning that, more and more people have felt that way, especially with a big change. But that big change that I didn't ask for, and I don't think anybody asked for those changes that actually turn the direction of your life, has led me to be the person I am today. And so after he passed away, I couldn't get back into insurance. I really tried. It just brought me so much pain, because I talked about death every day of my life. So I couldn't find my way back. So 2019, I decided that I still wanted control of my time. I still wanted that freedom. I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5 job. And so that's when I started exploring the online opportunity. And I made my first investment into a program and to learn organic marketing because I wanted to pick up affiliate marketing because I love sales. I love to serve people. And so, like, I learned all this strategy, but what I also learned was I had a lot of beliefs that needed to be addressed. I had a lot of things that were blocking me. I was feeling unworthy. I had money belief issues. Like, you name it, and I had it. And so at that point, it sent me on a journey of like healing. And I'm so thankful that I enrolled and invested in that organic marketing program, because had I not, I wouldn't have become self-aware, and I wouldn't have changed the direction of where I was going. And so I almost became like obsessed with the healing process. All I knew was that I wanted to heal so that I could build a business that, one, I could be proud of, two, that was mine, and that gave me the freedom that I wanted. And so for the first time in years, I had that like desire in my gut to win again, because when my dad died, that went away. Like, I literally just went through the motions of the day. But I suddenly, like, I wanted to win. I wanted to compete. I wanted to get back in the game. And so when I enrolled in my second program, this one was probably one of the most, it taught me a lot of strategies that I share with you guys day in and day out. Two, I was finally able to work through my grief and to embrace it and to appreciate it. But the most important thing is I went through a program that was called Passion and Purpose. And in this program, it was all about helping to uncover your purpose through looking at patterns from throughout your life, as far as what your dreams and aspirations were and things that you enjoyed. And at the end, you come up with that there are 4 basically parts that you enjoy, and one is meant to be what you embrace when it comes to your career or work. And so for me, my purpose, the one that I was supposed to embrace, was all about learning and teaching. And suddenly, like, I had so much clarity about not only the direction that I was going, but also about like the past. Because you see, when I was at my happiest moments, it was when I was getting to teach others. When I sold insurance, I always went in and taught the people that I sat with. Like, I wanted them to know more than when I got there. And I love teaching other agents and training them. And so every career and every journey had always been about teaching. And the times that I wasn't in a role that I could actually teach someone and help guide them, I wasn't fulfilled. It didn't matter how much money I made, I wasn't fulfilled. And so the other thing that I learned from this program was, like, we all have a natural flow, the way we do things when we're successful. And for me, a new ideal comes about. I research it, I gather all the information I need, I organize that information, and create systems, and then I take action. Well, when you know what your natural flow is, when you see that you're getting stuck, you know what your next step should be. And so you can accelerate and be like, oh, Andrea, you're getting stuck in this research mode. You need to get this together so you can take action. And that is so beneficial to creating what you want when you actually know how you go through the steps. So when we think about this passion and purpose, let's think about it like the Enneagram, except for it's like on the soul's level, because we know that we were all created with a purpose long before we even started searching for our purpose. And so I truly believe that this process helps identify or uncover what is buried so deep within you. For me, when I think back to being a child, and for the longest time, I always wanted to be a teacher. That was what I played. I played growing up. I was just that kid that loved to learn. And so it only makes sense that that's what I'm supposed to embrace as part of me to show up and to serve with. And there's nothing more fulfilling to me than when I'm able to share with you guys things that I've learned and things that will help change your life and shorten the uncomfortable times for you. So the clarity was so important to me, because we all want focus, but focus comes after we have clarity. Like, we can't focus if we don't know what we're trying to focus on. And so I knew at that point that I was meant to have some kind of program, but I didn't know what. There's a lot of things that I feel that I'm good at, but I couldn't pinpoint where it was that I was supposed to focus my talents. And I couldn't find a program that actually would help me with this. And so that's how this whole program came about. In the end of Q4, I really stepped back and started really looking at what direction I wanted to take. 2021 was a good year for me, I felt. But at the end, I was not clear on the path that I wanted to take. I knew that it had to be more than just about making money. I wanted it to be fulfilling. I wanted it to be pleasing to God. And I wanted to wake up each day excited to get the day started and excited about what I was going to bring to the market, and just full of love and excitement. And sometimes you got to step back and get in the quiet to hear what we're supposed to hear. And I was really just searching internally for what my next steps should be. I knew that I wanted to create something to serve women, but it was like, how? And that literally is how I birthed the idea of igniting your passion. Because for me, I wanted to combine not only the process that I learned on uncovering your passion and purpose and uncovering your natural flow, and the techniques to eliminate the blocks, but I also wanted to combine in that was my natural ability to see a clear plan of action for others when I can't necessarily see it for me, to identify those talents within people and help them monetize them so that they could be fulfilled and so that they could find the balance in their life, so they're available for their kids and their grandkids, and they're not trading time for money, but they can be fully present. And when they're present, they can be there and their phones are aside and they're not thinking about all the things that they need to be doing, because they have such clarity on how they're to show up in the marketplace and to monetize their gifts and talents. So if you're wondering about how all this came about, that's the story behind it. It all started with a change that I didn't want. It started with a lot of pain. And that leads me to this morning I was reading in the Business Secrets of the Bible, and I wanted to read a part of it to you. And so the book is talking about Wrigley's gum, how the creator of the gum, he first was trying to sell baking soda and soap, and that failed, and he transitioned into selling gum. But in the book he said these men share one thing in common: they were open to change, and they listened to their intuition. Sometimes we hear a whisper in the air that guides us positively. The whisper we hear is not passive. It is a response to our own enthusiasm, passion, and commitment. We put in the effort and we get back a divine message. Call it inspiration if you want, call it an entrepreneurial muse, but it feels and sounds like a whisper in your soul. If you hear it, listen to it. You must be willing to change course when it tells you to do so. And he goes on to say that it may be painful, but pain is a part of life. You must be open to experiencing both pain and fear to make big changes. The fear can make this leaving behind, this breaking away, very difficult. Fear causes us to clutch the familiar close to our hearts. Fear causes us to hold on to that which we have, rather than go out and find what is waiting for us. You must leave one psychological place before you can reach another. But you will never get ahead in business if you don't expand your outlook. So, as I celebrate my dad's life today, and I continue to embrace the change that has come about over the last 7 years, and the transition and the pivoting and the flexibility and the grace that I've had to extend myself on the days when I'm like I should be further along than I am, I want to encourage you to do the same thing today. I want to encourage you to embrace the change. You probably didn't ask for it, but it happened. And change is just a part of life. And embrace it, trust, surrender, and know that there's something better ahead, that you're being transformed into the lady that you need to be to truly walk out your purpose. And I also want to invite you can see it in the cover, if you want to have a chat about your business and the direction of your business, how you can have more money and opportunity and relationships and more enjoyment. Just direct message me, post a comment, or you can go to AndreaGarretson.com/more and just schedule some time with me. I would love to help you find clarity for 2022. And I'm super proud of myself because 2 or so years ago, I would not have been able to do this live without shedding a ton of tears. So hold on tight. Change brings growth, and growth brings some beautiful things. Hope y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, y'all.